Hurricane Ian struck Florida in September 2022, causing over 100 fatalities and over $50 billion in damage. How do you recover after a storm of that magnitude and get ready for the next one? I spoke with Mike Schmidt, who's been helping communities in Florida and around the world grapple with these issues for decades. He explained to me why these megastorms are becoming more frequent and what communities can do today to protect the public, the environment, and critical infrastructure before the next storm hits. Check it out. So Mike, it's been about a month since Hurricane Ian struck Florida. What do you see as the biggest challenges to recovery?
Well, it's a challenge. They always are when they hit. Some places take years, decades to recover. So there's the recovery aspect, right? Trying to save people's lives. Last I heard, over 125 people had perished. It's unfortunate. Some people cannot leave or did not leave. It hit one of the highest growing areas in Florida, Southwest Florida, where a lot of people live along the coast. So recovery mode usually takes years and sometimes decades then with reconstruction. Reconstruction is moving along. There was a Sanibel Causeway, for example, that was ripped out, pretty much, largely destroyed in the earthen portions. Fortunately, with cooperation of the federal government, FEMA with the state, that causeway has been rebuilt for emergency access. To just get vehicles in there to remove the debris and recover those that perished and start to restore power and water. Those are the challenges. And then to manage development into the future, to make sure that we build people in safer areas, build back a bit, restore barrier islands where possible, and mangroves. So there's a natural green part of the solution as well.
Now, Mike, as you alluded to, Florida's been dealing with hurricanes for decades, but is it my perception, or are storms getting more frequent and more intense? And if so, why?
So we know that there's an unusually high amount of carbon dioxide relative to 4.5 billion years of geologic time. We know there's been glacial epochs over that time. The Earth wobbles, the precession of the axis, that slight difference makes the difference, the amount of incident sunlight in the natural course. And we're putting out a lot more energy, so we're getting higher record temperatures. I think 11 of the hottest recorded years in history are the last 13 to 15. So greater temperature gradients give rise to greater variation in pressures, in air movement, greater opportunities for warming of the seas, which fuel the hurricanes. And we're seeing more, stronger storms of longer duration, delivering greater power.
Now, Mike, you've taught me the trifecta of options in response to catastrophic flooding: armor, raise, and relocate. Let's start with armoring. What are you advising communities to do to harden their infrastructure against future storms?
In the concept, we look at armoring, raising, and relocating in combination. For the armoring, which is probably the most ongoing active measure now, because not all the cities of the world can't just move like that. We're looking at green and gray options, so seawalls and coastal barriers that mix in mangroves and other seagrasses, try to restore that, because the receiving waters are feeling in terms of water quality as well, with backflow prevention. And one of those gray solutions that provides green outcomes is exfiltration and recharge wells. Exfiltration basically are perforated pipes that are set in gravel. They're wrapped around the pipe, around the gravel. They pre-treat the water, so they collect, store, treat, infiltrate, and convey stormwater in the right-of-way for the lowest cost. So the plan is initially coupled with transportation corridors, because many of the roadways run along the edge of the seas, along the rivers and things, so to armor accordingly, but also working green features and protecting the environment as well as public safety is very important.
If you're enjoying this conversation and want to hear more from the brightest minds in the environment and infrastructure, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to learn more about how Mike and his colleagues are helping the city of Miami to handle stormwater and build coastal resilience, check out the link below. All right, back to the discussion. Let's talk a little bit about raising infrastructure, raising homes to prevent future flood damage. What are the considerations there?
So raising, you have to watch out you don't have unintended consequences. Some communities have tried to raise roads. And what that they may not see, what we advise them to check for, is that the roads are your primary collection, storage, and conveyance systems in your cities. You just want to make sure it's not too deep. You can have evacuation, emergency traffic access. So you have to make sure you do not block historic flood paths. So some infrastructure will have to be raised, whether it's a pipeline or a water plant. And in some cases, too, some communities are looking at mitigating by buying out repetitive loss areas and turning them into storage, which segues into the third option of what is sometimes called retreat or relocation. So relocation is where you take an area, homes, a water, wastewater plant, and you may relocate it because maybe older, maybe at a higher risk. There may be a better use for that opportunity. There is a role for relocation. It's just that as you look at the total picture, you have to look at it all in context of armor, raise, and relocate.
What are you and experts like you advising communities to focus on as they go through this thought process?
So we look at evaluating for risk and vulnerabilities, looking at public safety, environmental protection, and asset protection, and then identify those critical assets to protect so that everyone, flood safety's met for the people. They have evacuation route access. They have emergency shelters. Their command and control centers are protected. Their water, wastewater facilities are functioning or can bounce back with backup power, that they're resilient and then adaptable over time. And of course, as possible, sustainable too, because sometimes, in the droughts like the mega drought in the Southwest, those water supplies are getting real low for some of those communities.
Very well said, Mike. It's always fascinating to talk to you about these topics. Thank you for being here with me today.
Well, thanks so much. I'm glad to participate and look forward to continuing to work on these important, challenging issues now and in the future with our great teams.